Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Play ChäoS Head. Last time we figured out she scooped someone's brains out, and she was also responsible for putting her own child into a man. So that's two of the new gen cases we know what happened. Let's continue. Hazuki Shino looked up at those images in shock. The four jumbotrons set around the pedestrian scramble. Her own memories were playing out there as a film. She didn't understand how it had been done. It was probably due to Nishijo Takami's power as a gigalomaniac.
あなたの記憶です。
Nishijo Takami murmured, head hanging, holding his D-sword. The riot had concluded almost instantaneously. Now silence reigned. Several thousand people, who moments before had been striking out at each other, not caring who they hit, all looked up at the Geometrons in unison. Those who went pale and averted their eyes, those who vomited in revulsion, the members of the media attempting to fix their cameras on Hazuki, their brilliant flashes burned over and over.
あなたがニュージェネ事件の真犯人だったんだ。
私の記憶を映像に投影したんですね。
もう言い逃れはできませんよ。胎児とあなたの DNA を鑑定すればわかることです。どうしてあんなことを。ねえ、クリム。
ナイトハルト。すべては教祖様のお言葉なんですよ。
Hazuki slowly plunged a hand into the handbag hanging from her shoulder. Therein lay a NOAA 2 terminal port and a surgical scalpel. Oh my god, she's gonna cut her own fucking neck. Oh boy. Oh, called it. Grabbing the scalpel, she laid the tip of its blade against her neck. She was a nurse. Her line of work meant she was all too familiar with the location of the how the fuck do you pronounce this? Isn't it cardioid? Cardioid artery. Hazuki smiled at Nishijo Takami, her kindly smile, again akin to the one she gave her patients. Yep. Became plastered red in her own splurting blood. I said splurting instead of spurting. I meant to do it. Excuse me? Someone murmured. I realized they were speaking about me because of the countless gazes piercing me. Before a vast number of people, Hazuki Shino had committed suicide by slitting her throat. Perhaps it would have been more appropriate to say she'd become a martyr. The choking smell of blood hovered in this place. The riot had now completely subsided. Hazuki Shino's memories of her crimes, which I had projected onto the Jumbotrons, had been ideal for silencing the agitated crowd. Every last one of them lost all words in shock at the video. Hazuki Shino's corpse, still trailing blood. Several people had walked up to it. They began kicking her dead body. Pardon? The dead body of a violent murderer. So they were saying they didn't need to pay it any respect. What would they do next? Decapitate her and hang her head up like we were in the Warring States era? What difference was there between her and the people kicking her corpse? People were helplessly ugly, myself included. The press swarmed around like hyenas to snap pictures for the next big scoop. About half of them went to Hazuki Shino's body. The remaining half were near me.
お見事でした。今のは超能力ですか？やはりエスパーだったんですね。すごいです。今日のこの集まりは初めから真犯人をおびき寄せるためのものだったの？
That does sound like fucking Link.
あなたの超能力は何歳頃に現れたものなんですか？子供の頃のあだ名は神童とか呼ばれたことある？今後警察の捜査に協力する予定は？うちの局の番組に出てくれないかな。
Huh? Fucking Link voice. They tossed them at me, one after the other. Words of praise.
西条、よくやったぞ。
よくやったぞ。
お前すげえよ。
Dang. Excuse me? Words of goodwill tossed at me one after the other. I felt hollow, hearing those voices. A false image, sculpted by public opinion and a delusionary existence. They weren't all that different, were they? That mirth returned. The enthusiasm they'd shown when looking up at me at the roof of the O-front.
うるさい
Unable to take it, I yelled.
手のひら返して英雄扱いかよバカみたいな
Tears came out. I was terribly grief-stricken. It was so terribly and it was so terribly ridiculous. I couldn't get by without crying. I'm not a hero.
僕はキモオタでセーラタンのエロいフィギュアにハーハーしてる変態だ
Yeah. What?
僕はキモオタでセーラタンのエロいフィギュアにハーハーしてる変態だ
God damn it. Game.
18歳未満だけどヘロゲして燃えって言ってる男だ頭の中じゃ街を歩く女どもを裸にひんむいてエロい妄想してるそれが僕だ
My face went messy with tears and snot. I forgot I was being broadcast live to the whole nation. It didn't even occur to me that I was disgracing myself again. I was incorrectly in my failure to read the atmosphere.
そうだよこれでも僕は英雄かよ
So how'd you like them apples? I snorted.
違う僕は英雄なんかじゃない所詮妄想の存在でキモオタで一人じゃ何もできないヘタレだ
Ooh. The voices in the area went quiet. The silent spectators, the reporters showing me dubious faces. At the heart of Shibuya, in this wide pedestrian scramble, my voice alone rang out.
それが僕だお前らに他人に僕っていう人間を決めさせない僕はお前らのおもちゃじゃない
Right, I fucked that up.
見せ物なんかにはならない
Hold on. Let's redo that. I fucked that up. I skipped too soon.
それが僕だお前らに他人に僕っていう人間を決めさせない僕の本質は僕が決める僕はお前らのおもちゃじゃない見せ物なんかにはならない
Alright, there we go.
僕にはやるべきことがあるんだ僕はお前たちなんかのために行動しない
Rumi's smile rose at the back of my head.
僕はただ
For the sake of the one I loved, I would fight and disappear. Before I could declare so, suddenly I noticed how the night sky reflected at the corner of my sight was going white. Not from clouds, and certainly not from out-of-season snow. By the time I realized it was the same phenomenon as what had happened along with the earthquake, it was already too late.
サードメルト予定より早い
In the beginning, the ground rumbled. The earth began shaking. The white in the sky steadily spread. And next, I was assaulted by a fierce ringing in my ears, a shrill, head-splitting resonance. Everyone around me covered their ears as well. And then... Oh, seen from the start of the game. The whole world was dyed a glaring white. Is it time for Chapter 10? It's time for Chapter 10! Damn! Well, you know what that means. Let's not quit the episode yet. I stood on the water's surface. It was very clear, transparent water. A shallow shoal, no higher than one's ankles. I didn't feel any coldness. The sound of waves whispered intermittently in my ears. I was holding the handlebars on the back of a wheelchair. Shogun, no, the real Nishijo Takumi's head, clad in a knit cap, was close before me. He sat in the wheelchair with his back hunched a little. There was nothing around us. Shells buried in the sand, for instance, or seabirds flying gracefully through the sky. I couldn't see anything of the sort. Life had no presence here. There was only the blue ocean and the absolute clear sky. The land was flat, and no matter which way I faced, I could look out across the horizon in every direction, 360 degrees around. This wasn't the real world. I heard Shogun's voice, mingling with the sound of breaking waves. From where I stood, I couldn't see what kind of look he had on his face. His was not a voice filled with any particular sense of lamentation. It was truly as though he had said it offhand. Tiny and covered in wrinkles, and underweight, all of his hair had fallen out. Was this one of those illnesses known as premature aging? It was supposed to be a rare disease, one that affected only about 1 in every 8 million people. A certain gruesome spectacle engraved in my memory rose to the forefront.
粒子とともに追生成される反粒子はディソードにストックされていくんだ。反粒子は数学的に言えば過去へ向かうものだから。ストックすればするほどギガロマニアックスには現在の状態とのズレが発生し、やがてその矛盾により存在としての自己崩壊へ至る。
Shogun didn't budge an inch in his wheelchair. I wondered what he was looking at. I wondered if he saw anything.
力を使えば使うほどこの病は進行しちゃうんだ。ギガロマニアックスの力で治せばいいじゃないか。力を使えば病は進行する。端的に言えば力を使ってもプラスマイナスゼロっていうことさ。何も変わらない。どうして僕みたいな肝オタのヘタレ野郎を作ったの？もっと強くて行動的でかっこいいイケメンにすればよかったのに。人を一人、しかもギガロマニアックスの力を使える人間を生み出すのは簡単なことじゃなかった。君を生み出したんですね。1年近く昏睡しちゃったくらいだよ。僕は未完成だったってわけ。だからこそ君はとても人間らしい。フォローしなくてもいい。本心だよ。
I clicked my tongue. I didn't like this guy after all.
リミにはいつも力を使うなって怒られたよ。彼女は君を助けたいんでしょう。でも僕はリミの忠告に従うわけにはいかない。今の危機的状況は僕の IR2 がきっかけなんだから。
IR2. That peculiar doodle drawn on the reverse side of the essay.
IR2 はある科学者の目に留まり、やがて
のぞみテクノロジー社によって研究が始められた。それがプロジェクトノア。言ってみれば人工的にギガロマニアックスの能力を発生させる装置。僕が計画に気づくことができたのはリミと出会ったからなんだ。彼女がひどい拷問を受けていたのはそのプロジェクトの一環だった。ノアのシステムを効率化するために必要だったのがコード3。ギガのマニアックスが力を使う過程で放出する特殊なノウハウのもの。それを手に入れるためにのぞみの社長ノーゼはリミに過酷な拷問を加えた。強烈な負の感情を抱くときギガのマニアックスは力に覚醒し理想度を獲得するからね。
I again recalled what Senna had said.
バイオリズムの上昇によって中脳変影系ニューロンのドーパミンが過剰分泌されたとき理想度は現れる。それは危機的な状況や興奮、悲しみ、憎しみ、笑いなど人それぞれだ。ドーパミン分泌量が多ければそれだけ観測しやすくなる。
君が僕にちょっかいをかけてきたのもそのため。
君を覚醒させるためにだ。ごめん。
It wasn't only me and Rimi. Those who had been forced to awaken as gigalomaniacs because of the psychological or physical torture involved with Project Noah. They were Hayase, Senna, Kozupi, and even Nanami. They had been through horrific trials.
IR2 から生み出されたノア2は僕が自分の手で止めなくちゃならない。でも僕はこんな体だ。満足に動くこともできない。それに僕のコードサンプルを欲しがる望みから狙われるようにもなっちゃう。
The place where he'd been hospitalized was indeed AH Tokyo General Hospital. It had hidden ties to the Nozomi group. Correct, because we did fill in that questionnaire, which was also done by Nozomi. Oh, the detail in this fucking game, dude.
だから身を隠さなくちゃいけなかった。
幻の病室のアミーちゃんか。
あそこに入ってこられたのはリミだけだったよ。僕は身動きが取れなくなって、それで
僕を作ったのか。
Shogun gave a small nod.
リミには君を消すように何度も言われたんだ。命を削る行為だからやめろって。でも僕に残された命は長くない。力を使わなくたってあまり差はないんだよね。
His voice was very calm. He had the philosophical view of things possessed only by those who... He had the philosophical view of things possessed only by those whose deaths had been declared to them years before, perhaps.
それに君が覚醒して力を使えるようになれば僕の命はずっと保たないだろうから。
僕と君は一心同体っていうこと。
そうだね。
でも一つだけ約束。もう妄想はしないね。タクの妄想力はとっても強いから、妄想をすればするほど本物のあなたの命が削られていっちゃうんだ。
If I were to keep my promise to Rimi, I couldn't go save her. Even if I went, they'd turn the tables on me, and I wouldn't be able to accomplish anything.
君の命はあとどれぐらい持つ？
きっと今日か明日までじゃないかな。
そこまで。
The time left to him was much shorter than I had expected. It stunned me.
僕が覚醒しちゃったから。
気にしなくていいよ。君の覚醒は僕にとって本望だから。
君が死んだら僕はどうなる？
君は僕と一心同体であると同時に リアルブートされたことによって現実の人間になった。生まれ方は特殊かもしれないけど、君は人間だよ。
僕が消えれば君は助かるよ。
無駄だよ。せいぜい寿命が数日から数週間伸びるぐらいじゃないかな。でもそんな愚かな選択肢を選ぶのはやめるんだ。君にはノア2を破壊してほしい。そのために力を使うことを遠慮しないでほしい。
言われなくても分かってる。君に遠慮するほど僕はお人よしじゃない。
Shogun laughed, his shoulders shaking faintly. It kind of offended me, since I hadn't meant to be funny.
君が目覚めてくれてよかった。勝手な話で迷惑かもしれないけど、あと君にたくさん。
The sensation of the wheelchair's handlebars I was holding abruptly vanished. At some point, the wheelchair in which he sat had moved away from me on its own, progressing forward as though gliding atop the water. Its two wheels cut through the water, forming ripples. I had no intention of chasing after him. I hastily saw him off.
僕の役目は終わった。
勝手だね。僕に丸投げ。
少し疲れちゃった。眠らせてよ。
In his wheelchair, he turned back toward me. As usual, I couldn't read his expressions, but his voice was urgent.
時間がない。急いで。ノロセはノア2を本格的に稼働させた。こうなったらノア2を直接破壊するしかないんだ。頼んだよ。
And his figure disappeared, as though enveloped by mist. The very colors of this psychologically generated world began to slowly fade away.
君に頼まれる筋合いなんてない。僕自身が決めたことをやるだけ。
The sound of the waves retreated into the distance. As Remy had once done in the past, I burned the endlessly clear sky into my memory, then quietly closed my eyes. Phew, this place looks fucked up. I think it's time to call it quits. We're finally in Chapter 10, which is, believe it or not, the final chapter of the game, as I've probably said millions of times across this entire playthrough, spread over so many years. However, I think it's time we quit this episode. We're close to the end now. Chapter 10 is the final part. And let's just say I'm stoked. I'm really enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying it as much as me. And I'll see you guys on the next episode of ChäoS Head. See you then, guys.